Good morning, everyone, and we are now here to discuss the method overloading. Last time we discussed the classes, field declaration syntax, and as well as the method with their syntax. What is a method overloading? Method overloading, when we say a method overloading, if a class has a multiple methods by same name but different parameters, it is known as method overloading. If have to perform only one operation, having the same name of the method increases the readability of the program. Now, suppose you have to perform addition of a given numbers, but there can be any number of argument. If you write a method like like the like for instance, we have a, and then a has integer and another integer for two parameters, and b, okay, has a data type for integer, another integer, and another integer for three parameters, then it may be difficult for you as well as other programmers to understand the behavior of the methods because its name differs. So we perform method overloading to figure out the program quickly. Now, there are different arguments that could be differ in number of parameters, the data type of parameters, and the sequence of data type parameters. Method overloading is also known as the static polymorphism. Let us remember that in method overloading, there is a what we call static polymorphism that is also known as compile time binding or early binding, meaning to say it is compiled it happens when we are trying to compile the program, and static binding happens at compile time. Method overloading is an example of static binding, where binding of method call to its definition happens at a compile time, meaning to say after we compile and we are trying to run the compile, it happens the static binding. There are two ways to overload the method, one of which is the changing number of data type and by changing the data type. So let us discuss them one by one. Now, if we are going to change the number of argument, let us consider this example. Let us assume that we have declared the overloading file name, and then we declare a method character C, and then we print the C. After that, we again declare another method which is in the form of character C and int num. Now, as you can see here, there is what we call, when we are going to display its number or its output, we just call C and then concatenated it with number. And then how are we going to display the output here? Let us assume, okay, that we have the class sample, and then we declare the main method or method header. Now we are giving the new name for the class here by means of displaying overload, and we are giving a new name object or obj, and instancing display overloading. Now, to declare or to display the character C here, we have called this one, we called here, and to display the value of this method here, we call it here. We gave the character, or we gave C as your character, the value of C as A and the value of number as 100. Now, what could be the sample output of this? Of course, since we said that we have to display A, or C rather, and what is the value of C is A, so it will be A, since you are using println here. Now, what about this one? Of course, it will print A, comma, and then, sorry, wala, no comma here, and then 100. So that will be the sample output. Did you get that, class? Now, that's the changing number of arguments. We have one argument here, character lamang, we declare only one arguments here. Ito ay dalawa yung arguments. Now, let's move on with changing the data type. Now, changing the data type, again, using the same program that or example a while ago, we have a display overloading. As you all know, we have here character C. That's the method for the one method. We use character for the data type and another one for integer here. Now, again, we display uh, uh, the C and the number here. With that, this is since this is a sample too. With that, we call the class created and give them a new name obj. And then after that, uh, for us to display the character A here or the character C here, we declared here or we call it here obj.display. And for us to create or for us to give the output for this is we have this one to this one. Sorry, we do not use this. It should be uh, print C lamang, print C, not num. Kasi we used C here. So, dapat po, the one that we are called here is C, not num. Alright? So, we have used the character C and then integer C. So, we are using two data types. Yung isa ay character, yung isa ay integer. Now, to display the output, we have called object that display A, and we said that that display here is 100, and we gave the value of C here as we gave the character C as a value of A and the in C as a value of 100. To give the output, we will be having A, and then this one is 100. Do you have any question? Okay. So let us have a sample program. Okay. So let us have an example of method overloading sample program. So let's have create new class, which is we have the name product, and then click finish. Now, in this method or over in this example, we are using class product, and then we will be declaring variable such as private int a and private int b, and then kulang, and then uh, declare a method product. So we have a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 10. And now we will be declaring again another method, which is product. So ito yung kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina na int x and int y. Yung kanina na meron tayo na pinakita natin yung tinatawag natin na declaration of changing number by arguments and changing number by type. So we have a is equal to x and b is equal to y. And we will be declaring again product, another method, which is, sabi natin, product z. So, nagkaroon tayo ng tinatawag natin na another method, and then open and close parentheses. We have A is equal to Z dot A, and B is equal to Z dot B. Now, kukumputin natin, we'll be declaring in compute, and then that is a method. Open curly brackets again, return A multiplied by B. And then close. Now, we will be calling those class tests, no? So, we have here, and, okay. So, let's have public static. The main, main header, void main, string, choose. And then, here, we'll be using product test 1 as new product. So, kopyahin na lang natin to. Terminate natin. Product test 2 as product 2 and 3. And then, product test 3 as test 2. Tinawag lang natin siya. Now, i-print natin system.out.print ln. Okay, copy natin kasi lalagyan lang natin ng method overloading in Java. And then, print ln ulit. Ilagyan ko lang ng written by, halimbawa, pangalan nyo, Margie Flores, and okay, the value is, tapos tawagin lang natin, plus test1.compute. And then after that, tawagin lang natin din ito lang din, kopyahin ko na lang din to. Ito naman, test 2. At yung isa ay test 3, of course. And copy. Tapos, end of the program. End of program. Now, so, iraran natin, then again, sabi natin ay may error. Sabi niya, public class test is public, should be okay. So, hinahanap po kasi niya si test. Eh, ang ginawa natin dito ay product. So, let's just rename. Close muna natin. Save. Itong product, gagawin natin rename. Now, we are able to rename the program kasi kanina hindi siya pumapayag kasi ang nilagay natin is product. Ito yung nilagay natin. Then again, ang pangalan ng ating public class or the main class is test. That's the reason why in-rename na natin. Now, after renaming, just run the program and ito yung kanyang value. 50, the value nung isa, ito, test 1, 850. The value of test 2 is 6 and the value of another one is 6. Kasi po, kinuha lang natin siya dito. Diba? Ito. Yan. So, ni-return lang natin, sabi natin, i-compute natin siya. Kasi sa una, minultiply lang niya itong dalawa. But then again, kasi nagkaroon tayo ng z.a. Okay? dito sa ating dito sa ating product. So the reason why ito yung ating test 2, nagkaroon kasi tayo dito ng product 2 at saka 3. So parang binigyan natin na si test 2, binigyan natin kumbaga ganito. Si product, ito yon 5 times ito this one, 5 times 10 is 50. Now, dito kasi, nung nag-test 2 tayo, nag-create tayo ng product sa 2 at saka sa 3. So, ang ginawa niya, minultiply lang niya itong 2 and 3, kaya naging 6 dito. Now, bakit po doon sa isa ang value niya ay 6? Kasi dito sa isa, ang tinawag natin is 3. Now, si 3, tinawag lang naman niya si 2. So, yun yung naging, that's the reason why ito yung kanyang naging output. Did you get that? Okay. So, let's continue. Okay. Now, we are done with the method overriding. Now, we will be discussing now is the this keyword. So, the this keyword is a reference variable that refers to the current object. There are 6 uses of these keywords. One is this keyword can be used to refer the current class instance variable. 2, this can be used to invoke current class method or implicitly. Number 3, this can be used to invoke current class constructor. This can be passed as an argument in the method call, and this can be passed in an argument in the constructor call. So this can be used to return the current class from the method. Now, this is only just a suggestion. If you are a beginner to Java, just look up on the 3 usage of the this keyword. The this keyword here is a reference variable in which it refers to a certain called object. This object, as we all know, has a state and a behavior. Always remember, kasi yung this parang it refers to the class itself. Now, let's have a sample program using a this keyword. Okay, so we are now in your program, this keyword. Let's have a new class with the name this demo. Now, since we are having this demo, let's just declare username. And then we have void greetings. Kasi ano to ha, parang method natin to. Nag-create ulit tayo gamit na gamit. Lagi nating tatandaan si method ay gamit na gamit lagi sa atin. This dot username is equal to, let's say, username. So, ito po ay, this here represents the person. Okay? Now, i-out natin. Hello plus this dot username. And then, gawa tayo ng main header natin, void main. Okay. And then, open parentheses, this dot, this demo, pangalan pala yun natin, this demo, person is equal to new, this demo. Dapat hindi sila magkahiwalay. So, binigyan natin ng bagong pangalan. We instantiate this demo to a new class which is person. So, call system.out.print ln this keyword in Java demonstration. Now, after that, you are going to call person that greetings. Kasi tatawagin natin yung ating greetings na ginawa kanina dun sa method. Let's say, Myra G. Flores. And then, i-out natin system.out.print new line. And then, of course, terminate. So, let's see what will be the output. So, tinawag lang niya, this keyword in Java, person.greetings. Sasabihin nyo ay, ma'am, napaka-ano naman po. Kasi, kumbaga po ay, parang pinahirap po. Now, hindi po natin pinahirap. Kumbaga, ang ginawa lang natin, nag-create tayo, ito yung method natin. So, this method, sa loob ni method, tatawagin na or gagawa tayo nung this.username. Kung ano yung pangalan ng username na i-declare natin dito sa ating parameter sa ating method. Pagkatapos, sabi natin, hello, and this.username, whatever the username is. So, dito, ang ginawa natin, kumbaga, tinawag natin yung username or yung greetings natin dito, papunta dito, at i-concatenate natin dito sa username. Kaya, nakalagay dyan, hello, Myra G. Flores. Kung mapapansin niyo dito sa lower part, person.greetings, nilagay lang natin yung ating pangalan. Tapos, dun sa upper part ng ating method, nilagay natin yung may hello, and then tinawag natin yung username na this.username. So, ganun lang siya kasimple. Okay? Do you have any question? Okay. So, kung wala na, let's move on. So, in this program, when we declare the command person.greetings, let's say, yung tinatawag natin na ito, itong person.greetings yan. When we declare this, it calls the greetings method. We created a method kasi kanina which is greetings, which we provide a parameter name of the person. And this keyword signifies the object person. Okay? Any question? Okay. Now, next. We will be discussing now the instance and local variables. Instance and local variables is defined instance variable is always defined in a class. It works in a current class, and the local variables, on the other hand, is defined in a method. It will only work in a current method. Always remember that the local variables will always be defined in a method. So let's have a sample program. So in this case, we define two instance variable inside a class. We have integer x is equal to 400 and y is equal to 600. The second variable, variable declaration is this. Int x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 4. Take note that this variable is a local variable and can only be accessed in a void in this test method. Now, ito yung instance variable kasi this one could be accessed within the class. Kaya siya itawag natin ng instance variable. Which means, itong variable na to, yung local variable, I can only be accessed within this method. Doon lamang siya. Kung saan mo siya ini-encode or kung saan mo siya pinakita or saan mo siya declare, dun lang siya ma-access. While the instance variable is a variable that could be kumbaga parang ma-access siya within the class. Now, let us move on with polymorphism. So, what is a polymorphism? It is the ability of one type to take more than one form. So, this can be applied in a Java with a subclasses. Wherein the class can be defined in their own unique behavior and yet share some of the functionalities of the parent class. So let us have the an example of a polymorphism. We will be using Java animal.java na polymorphism. Okay, so let's create another class with the name animal. Then finish. Now, so we will be creating the animal class. So this is our parent class. And let's declare method. So this is your method for cry. Para ito yung ito po yung event ni nung animal. And then sasabihin natin print ln, sabi ay crying. Okay? Now, after that, kay dog naman. Okay, let's create class dog, big dog, extends animal. So in this case class, this is a subclass nung ating class na animal. Nakuha nyo? In-extend lang natin, dito, it is a subclass nitong kumbaga, kung siya ay sa isang hierarchy, nandun siya sa ilalim ni animal. So, in-extend lang natin siya. Kaya, ang tawag natin ay subclass. So, we try to use void class. So, dito naman nangyayari yung tinatawag natin na overriding. And then, system.out.print wow. Pagkatapos po, we have class cat extend. So, this is again class, another subclass ni animal. We have void cry. Again, this is overriding. System.out.print. So, ano naman yung nagagawa or ginagawa ni cat? So, meow tayo. And then, we have class polymorphism. Tapos po, we just get our main header. So, this is our main header or main function. So, tinawag natin si animal, gumawa tayo ng bagong variable. So, anong kulang? Kulang tayo ng yan, wala tayo nito, hindi natin nalagyan. Tapos, gay system.out.print polymorphism demonstration. Animal, gamitin natin yung ito, yung ating ginamit kanina. Tawagin natin si dog. So, ito yung kinreate natin na create a dog object. Ito naman ay yung ating dog object na tatawagin natin yung cry function niya. So, we have animal var new cat function. Ito yung ating create object, create a cat object. So, anong kulang? Kasi we do not use kaya nag-error ito. Yan. And then, tinawag natin yung ating, let's just use, yan. So, let's try to run this one. And then, run file. So, nakalagay dito, sa ibaba natin, polymorphism, demonstration, wow, 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 dun sa ano ni cat dog, and meow, meow, dun naman sa cat. So, again, dito, no, pinakita natin yung, since, pinakita natin dito, nag-create tayo ng subclass for animal, subclass for dog, and for cat. Pagkatapos, gumawa tayo ng, kumbaga, overriding na method para sa kanila, ano yung ginagawa nila o ano yung pwede nilang gawin. So, sabi natin, kapag si dog, ito yung gagawin niya. Kapag si cat, ito yung gagawin niya. Pagkatapos, gumawa tayo ng polymorphism. Si animal dito, ito yon yung parent class natin, binigyan natin ng bagong pangalan na animal bar. Why? Bakit po natin to kailangang bigyan? Kasi ito yung parang instantiation ng ating animal na class here. Kaya kinakailangan natin magbigay ng panibagong pangalan kasi we instantiate. And after that, tatawagin ninyo, okay, si dog, tapos yung galing dito sa create an object dog, tapos yung kanyang method, tapos same with cat, and same with the method of the cat. Okay? Question? Next. So, we are now moving on with the encapsulation. So, encapsulation is the binding of a data and its associated functions in a single unit called class. Access to the code and the data inside the wrapper is tightly controlled through a well-defined interface. Encapsulation provides a protective barrier that prevents the access of code and data from outside the class. The main benefit of encapsulation is the ability to refactor the implemented code without breaking the code of others and thus provides flexibility and maintainability. So that's the main benefit, no? Na kinakailangan, it can refactor. So when we say refactoring, kumbaga, hindi na kailangan nating i-break si code. Now let's have a sample program for encapsulation. Okay, sample program for encapsulation. Now, let us try to create another class. Okay? Dahil ito ay encapsulation, we'll be having sample or student. Student. Meron ba ako dito ng student? Wala. So, let's have a student Java. And then dito, of course, let's try to declare a variable, string student name. Tapos, bakit private? Kasi private, meaning to say, it can only be accessed within this class. Kasi pag pinpublic natin, it can be accessed with other classes. Kaya, within the class lang yung ating declaration of variable. Get student name. So, this is a method para kay student. Sorry. And then, sabi natin, return student name. And then, public void set student name. String student name. We will be using this keyword yung ginamit natin kanina. Equals to student name. Para dun sa course niya, get course. And then, we will be returning course. After that, we have public void set course. And then, string course. Open ulit natin. Tawagin natin, gamitin natin si course. Is equal to course. And then that's it. So, ano po ang mangyayari dito? Now, we will be creating an encapsulation demo or encapsulation class. Pwede kasi na ito a class kasi ang ginagawa natin kanina within the class, 'di ba? Or yung shall we say within the class yung ginagawa natin na So ito two file yung mangyayari. So let's create new class na may pangalan na encapsulation demo. Yan. So, tanggalin natin lang itong public muna. Gawin na lang natin. Same lang naman din siya, no? And then, public static void main string args. And then, so, we have, tawagin natin si student, yung nandito. Okay? Student, bigyan natin siya ng stud is equal to new student. So, yun yung ginamit natin kanina ha. Kasi yung pangalan ng ating class kanina is student. So, tatawagin lang natin siya at we'll be instantiating that student to stud. Ito yung name niya. So, we have student. Stud lang pala. Stud that set student name. Yan. Halimbawa, ang student name niya ay Myra G. Flores. So, we have student stud that set course. Of course, ay Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. Tapos, stud that set wala ba? Oh, sorry. System.out print encapsulation in Java demonstration. So, lagyan na rin natin. And, slash n. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Of course, new line. Tapos, syempre, ipapakita natin yung paano natin i-display. So, we will be displayed the value using this one. Get student. Get. Yan, ito, student name. So, ganun din to. Copy na lang natin, i-paste natin, pero babaguhin natin to. Ano pa yung kukunin natin? Of course, yung course. And then, of course, yan. So, alin ma'am ang iraran natin? You will run this. Diba, we have two class, si student at saka si encapsulation. Si student, ang gagawin mo lang, this is a class, ini-encapsulate lang natin siya. Kung mapapansin ninyo, wala siya yung ibang mga kailangan natin. So, para mangyari yun, kasi diba meron tayo ditong student class, nandito lahat ng mga kailangan natin. Kaya siya encapsulation, it's because binabind natin yung ating data na naka-associate dun sa isang class. So, itong dalawang to, pinagbabind natin gamit or using ito, ipag-i-instantiate natin. Now, ang iraran nyo dito is the encapsulation demo. Let us run. So, ito yung lumabas. Encapsulation Java, tapos yung aking pangalan and yung aking course, na which is itinawag natin dito kanina. Did you get that, class? Okay, next. So, we have the difference between the abstraction and the encapsulation. The two concepts are distinct but closely related and are often found together. As we said, abstraction focuses on the outside view of an object and hides any necessary detail, while the encapsulation here provides a protective barrier that prevents the access of code and data from outside the class. However, the abstraction solves the problem in the design. So, always remember. And the encapsulation, on the other hand, is the implementation, and in fact, that I would say that encapsulation in effect provides abstraction. So, how do we achieve polymorphism in Java? We can achieve polymorphism in Java by means of overloading and overriding. Now, polymorphism is of two types. Example, meron tayong tinatawag na compile time and of course the runtime. Compile time polymorphism is a method of overloading. And runtime polymorphism, however, is done using the inheritance and interface. So the different forms of polymorphism are the method overloading and the method overriding. Now, method overriding is a subclass, yung mga child class natin, which has the same method as declared in the parent class. So, it is known also as the method overriding in Java. In other words, if a subclass provides the specific implementation of the method that has been provided by one of its parent class, so that is known as the method overriding. So, there are rules of method overriding. One is the argument list should be exactly the same as the overridden method. So, dapat halos pareho lang sila. And then, it return the type. The return type should be the same of the subtype of the return type declared in the original overridden method in the class. Another is the access level cannot be more restrictive than the overridden method's access level. And, of course, the instance method can be overridden only if they are inherited by the subclass. A method declared final cannot be overridden, and a method declared static cannot be overridden but can be redeclared. A method cannot be inherited, then it cannot be overridden. Ganun din po, a subclass with the same package in the instance superclass can override any superclass method that is not declared public or protected. A subclass in a different package can only be override and non-final methods declared public or protected. And the last one, constructors cannot be overridden. So we have the different advantage of using method overridden. So the main advantage of method overriding is the class that can give its own specific implementation to an inherited method without even modifying the parent class. So let's have an example for the uh, for this method overridden. Okay, wait lang po. So let's create again another class. Okay, based. This one, we have to declare a method named display. And then we will be using print ln. This is base class. And then let's have an extension child extends base. Public, sorry, kasi dapat may D. Public void display. We have system.out that print ln. This is child class. We have main header public void args. So we have child object ulit, new child, and then let's display object that display. That's it. Run natin. Yan, pinakita niya na child class. Kasi bakit? Sabi natin na ito yun yung ini-out niya. In-extend natin si base. Nagkaroon tayo, si method overridden ay kumbaga nasabi nga natin sa child class. So in this example, nakita natin na we extended yung kung si parent, kumbaga parang ipina-inherent natin kung ano yung ginagawa ni parent kay child or kung ano yung meron kay child. So the reason why ito, kung mapapansin natin, ay kumbaga dito, in-extend natin yung kung ano man yung meron kay parent class. So this is your parent class and this is your subclass. And then in-override natin or kumbaga ay nagkaroon tayo ng mga argument. Okay? Kasi nga, sabi natin that the advantage of method overriding is the class can give its own specific implementation to an inherited method without even modifying the parent class or the base class. Kaya ito yung base class natin, ito yung ating subclass. Did you get that, class? Okay? I think that's the end of our discussion. I will be giving you your activity for today. Just visit your Schoology and ipapost ko po dun yung ating activity. That would be all for today, and if there are any questions, just don't hesitate to approach me. Thank you so much for listening.